Mike, that's who I am. We're here at Money, Marriage, and Media, and today we're looking at It's Complicated, right? Asking the tough questions. Um, Guys, we back in the gender war again. Well, it's a different angle this time. Um, Gender pay gap, hot button issue, YouTube talking point, gender war talking point. At some point, we got to address it, right? So, this is an interesting take on this. This is an older video from It's Complicated. We're digging in the crates over here. I haven't seen this in a while, so I kind of remember it, kind of don't. But let's go ahead and get it going, right?
Who is the most famous actor you can think of?
Actress, Drew Barrymore.
If Drew Barrymore was in a movie with a male co-star that nobody had heard of, would it be fair to pay them the same salary?
No.
No,
Why not?
because he's not like known of, and because he didn't like work to be famous like she did.
Okay, since Drew is the star of the movie, won't she bring more people to the theater than her co-star?
Yes.
Okay, that's called star power. How is that different than the gender pay gap?
Here we go.
That's a loaded one.
Mind blown. She didn't see that coming.
Like for women or for like?
Well, I mean, the WNBA complains about not being paid the same to the NBA, and they don't generate as much revenue. So, I mean, isn't that kind of like the same thing?
I feel like
Yeah.
the WNBA isn't promoted as much as the NBA because they are women.
Right, but I mean, wouldn't a male co-star that no one's ever heard of not be promoted as much and not be able to?
Yeah, I guess.
So is that comparable?
Maybe.
The need to be right. She don't want to say it. It was perfectly fine. It made sense. The dots connected when it was a woman. But then you flip the script and it's, oh, wait. No. We have to be the victim.
Sure.
I mean, wouldn't it have more to do with performance than discrimination?
Oh, I don't know. You're like hitting me. I wasn't ready. I don't know.
You're right.
High-level
about
conversation.
that one, but I just feel like
If they both doing the same
Same
job,
thing,
they deserve
then
the
they
same
should.
pay. It doesn't matter.
Okay, but at the same time, then why would someone want to star in their movie?
I mean,
What would be the benefit of having a celebrity in your movie if they weren't gonna, bring more people to the theater?
right. That makes sense, but
I mean, they're both doing the same job, but don't they have different value to the project?
yeah, but I feel
yeah,
like
you're right.
So
See,
so shouldn't their pay,
See, I feel
reflect
like-
reflect the value that they're bringing to the movie?
yeah, I agree with that.
If not, you're basically talking about a system of communism. Yeah. We all make the same pay no matter what, no matter how hard you work.
I feel like it depends on what part you play. Yeah.
Doesn't that completely disprove the gender pay gap right there?
damn.
Yeah.
All right.
You have two actors who are basically both starring and doing the same job, but they have different value because one is a celebrity and the other one's an unknown.
And you're saying with the basketball?
Well, what I'm saying is when it comes to basketball, right? A lot of women say that the WNBA should be paid the same as the NBA, but
Yeah, they
don't.
should.
But they don't generate the same revenue. So isn't that kind of like the same analogy as the celebrity getting paid more than the no-name actor?
Fun fact here. The NBA is actually keeping the WNBA afloat. The WNBA does not make enough money to pay all of its employees. So you want them to get paid more. With what money? WNBA doesn't make enough money to currently pay all its employees. The NBA has to help out. So how's that supposed to work? And you know what? Little tip here. It's falling off it's going in a completely different direction, but this is kind of important. Whenever you want to talk about making more money or spending more money, right? You want to make adjustments to something, it fits in with this argument. The first thing you need to ask is, okay, well, where's the money going to come from? Well, this job should give me a raise. Okay, well, where's the money going to come from? You need to go out there and make it. You need to go bring it in. That's a lot of times. A lot of people don't. They miss that argument. It's not just that's not a gender thing. That's a everyone thing. You want to get a raise at your job, then you need to focus on how you can make the company more money, so they can after they make a profit, then they can think about giving you a raise. That's just the way that works. If you're not doing anything to bring extra income outside of what the company's already making, you don't deserve a raise. Plain and simple.
In some respect, but at the end of the day, I would say to advertise them more. In all respect, if we look at Nike, if we look at Adidas, who do we see? Like, we mostly see male, like, athletes. I'm trying to make a...
How many games she been to? How many sneakers has she bought? How many Nikes does she own?
Oppose models.
But even if you advertise something more, does that necessarily mean that you're going to have more success? I mean, there are tons of businesses that fail.
But there's a ton that make it, and it's by advertising.
Acting, it requires you to act, put a little bit more work into it. Actually read a script, right? Read a script, do all these things that NBA players don't have to really do. They just practice and so you can't compare them. You can't compare the two.
Well, once again,
as far as the pay rate is concerned.
Well, once again, like I said, they're both, they're both training. They're both basically, they're both doing, acting, whether you're a male or a female actor, you're still basically, doing the same work, but they shouldn't be paid the same?
I don't know.
I'm just saying,
I'm over it.
Okay.
Next question.
I don't think it's based off of discrimination. I think it's based off of how long you've been at your job, how well you are with your technique, and how good you are at what you do. I think that's what matters.
There it is.
Do you think high-paid Hollywood actors should have their money redistributed so struggling actors can have a living wage?
No, God, no. No, because you haven't earned it. That's just like, well, it's pretty self-explanatory. You didn't earn it. So in a lot of ways, it's that when people get things that they didn't earn, they rarely respect it. Rarely. Usually end up losing.
Those struggling actors need to work harder for their money if that's what they want.
Okay, but it's funny how a lot of Hollywood actors often talk about, socialism.
Yeah, I see.
So, okay, how do you solve the gender pay gap?
There's not a gender pay gap. That's complete bullshit.
There has been some skepticism about the gender pay gap, equal pay for equal work. Do you believe the wage gap is due more to sexism or productivity?
I think it's sexism.
Yes.
Okay.
I think men get paid more.
Yep.
It's got to be productivity.
Can you show me a job where the pay scale for men and women is different?
Porn?
Anything that uses sexuality.
Actors and actresses.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Actors and actresses. They'll be in the same movie.
Yep.
Doing the same amount of work.
Yeah.
If the wage gap exists, then why would companies employ men when it would be cheaper to hire women?
Because companies can be...
High level conversation, man. Why do I get the feeling she gonna try to talk her way out of this?
sexist. And that's like the point. That's the problem.
Why would companies employ men when it would be cheaper to hire women?
They wouldn't.
That is a good one. Hold on.
No, they wouldn't.
They probably wouldn't.
I mean, if women are capable of doing just as good a job and for less money, wouldn't it make sense for a company to hire all women?
I mean, yeah, if women were getting paid less, what is it, 70 cents on the dollar? Yeah, companies would, find a good deal in that, yeah.
Is there a wage gap or an earnings gap?
It's got to be an earnings gap.
If men earn more than women overall, could it possibly be because men typically choose higher paying jobs, more dangerous jobs, and work longer hours?
100%. That's why there's a difference in pay between men and women. And let's see, is there anything else in there? No, those are usually the main reasons. Men tend to work more hours. They tend to take more dangerous jobs. Yeah, the wage gap is really about choice. Even when you go to school and to college, colleges are dominated by women, right? Particularly in the black community. But those degrees that people are choosing are not changing, and they're not turning into income. So while college is dominated by women, men still out earn them. Why? Because men, again, those same reasons. Men choose jobs that are more dangerous to make more money. They tend to work more hours on average. It's just the way the world works. It's designed like that, and I wouldn't see it changing unless women just decide that I'm okay with cleaning sewers and doing offshore drilling. That's not gonna happen.
Yep, these are all facts. I work as a truck driver. I don't see
that truck driver
clearly as many female truck drivers as I do male. It's a dangerous job. It's a long job. You're driving for hours. Yeah, no.
Don't women generally choose lower paying fields like education and nursing as opposed to math, science, and ditch digging jobs?
More thinking more.
So wouldn't their pay reflect that?
Yeah, women like to work with people, men like to work with things.
Don't women also choose to take more time off to focus on friends and family, whereas men
most men
are more likely to be devoted to work?
I think, this is also another fact, biology of life.
Women have to bury a child and they have to take maternity leave. So that's a very big issue for most CEOs in the company because they can't really have that liability.
Okay, some memories are starting to come back. This is the woman that talked about being a CEO. But where is the equality talk when it comes to the lower end jobs that are labor intensive? Where are the women who want to be sanitation workers? Where are the women who want to do road construction? Not just hold the flag, that actually get in there and use the heavy machinery. Again, offshore drilling, like these jobs, and these companies are hiring, but women just aren't applying because they don't want to. There's nothing wrong with that either. I don't know why we get so up in arms. It's like, oh, well, I want to make the same thing the man makes, but I just don't want to work as hard as him. Right.
Ability for an employee to take leave for such a long time, and that's one of the biggest concerns for women being paid so low is because of their it all has to do with.
But isn't that biology? And
yes, it has to do with biology. That's why we're upset.
Why should an employer be responsible for a woman's choice to have a kid?
They're not responsible, but it's just the basic ethics.
It actually is illegal to discriminate pay based on gender. Why aren't more women filing class action lawsuits against companies that don't pay them equally?
I would say it's a lot easier to get another job. I mean, I'd love to say we're gonna fight for it, and we do, but to the extent of a lawsuit, I mean, get a new job.
Don't people sue for discrimination all the time?
Yeah, but also I feel like it's a lot harder for anybody to then go sue their job due to something that happened, knowing that they're going to go through all the legal fees. They have the possibility of not then winning that case, although.
So there's a thing called contingency. You don't pay the lawyer unless you win.
They very much would have been discriminated against. There's not a high chance that they could win it, and if they do, you get a payout. Pays out through the staff, things like that.
But even a class action lawsuit, I mean, if it was happening as frequently as you hear about it, you would think that companies would be sued all the time.
You would think, but I also don't think a lot of people are going to go through their time to sue a company knowing that it might be more repercussions to them in the end due to money and legal fees and all of that.
I also just think it's not talked about enough in the workplace. There's a large stigma around discussing your pay with your coworkers, because what if you do make more than them and then they're like, hey, why are you getting paid more than me? It's something that you don't generally talk about with your coworkers, oh, by the way, I make this much a year, I make this much per paycheck. It's not something that comes up in workplace conversation.
Actually, there are ways around that. Because I've been the person who hires people and trains them and all that. Been the person who fires people. There are ways around that. You wanna find out what somebody's making? Just ask. Okay, hey, what does somebody make if I was just starting out here with no experience? How much would I be making? And you just go from there. And then you ask, okay, do you guys pay more for experience? They say no. Okay, well, then you know what everybody's making. They say yes. Okay, then there's obviously a sliding scale there. You can add, and you can go more detailed. You can get more detailed than that to say, okay, well, somebody with X amount of experience, what would I be looking to make? Yeah.
Can you tell me any jobs where the pay scale for men and women is different?
Not off the top of my head without like.
I can. Actors. I mean, broad amount of payment, but men are higher paid actors.
Why are some industries dominated by men and others by women?
Oh.
Choice.
Dang, I don't know.
Why are there more female than male strippers and prostitutes, and what does that say about society?
That sex sells, and the female body is more pleasurable to look at, I guess.
Would it be possible to sell sex if men did not sexually objectify women?
No. That's why I'm not complaining.
I'm not
If I didn't get objectified, I wouldn't get paid.
Look at you paid.
Well, there you go.
That's how people view women.
Okay. Why don't men complain about female strippers and prostitutes earning more than male ones?
That's a good question.
How much of our economy is driven by men buying things to please and impress women?
Oh, man, it's got to be close to 100%, if not, in the high 90s,
Would you agree that most consumer spending is geared towards women?
Yeah, I think the statistics are right. I think 86% of consumer base is women.
Would you also agree that the media
This guy's pretty knowledgeable.
pushes a campaign of fear and consumption by exploiting men's need for female validation?
Yeah, look at dating websites. They're not there to find love. They're there to extract as much resources out of men as possible.
So why is there so much talk about the exploitation of women, but we never talk about this exploitation of men?
It's like
Because believe it or not, exploitation is a part of society. There's always somebody getting exploited. You're not really gonna get rid of that. The question is that you're just not gonna get rid of it.
like the society growing up thing, like, toughen up, young man, or, men don't cry or something like that. It's expected of men to front the bill.
Finally, why is there so much talk about a gender pay gap, but not a gender spend gap?
Ooh.
I sometimes I believe women want to be men in the sense of that they want the ambition, they want the drive that they have, they want the results, but results aren't given to everybody equally.
Okay, so let's take that to another level then, because if that's true, then is there would the next logical question be, if women got all those things, would they still want a man? Because you're literally taking the best part of men, the masculine. You're taking the masculinity. Women are they're chasing after the masculinity. So when they get it, the reason they're chasing that is because they don't want to have to depend on a man. I don't know. It's an interesting question. Get you thinking. Let's go.
How should we determine which jobs are more valuable?
It's about supply and demand when it comes to what's valuable. So, if it's
100%. But this is also another reason why women tend to make less money, is because they take jobs that are less demanding, and that means that more people are applying to them. They're less physically demanding. So more people are applying to them. So, hey, if we got all these candidates, well, we ain't got to pay that much, because if you're not willing, if this job is usually pays 40, but I got 500 candidates, okay, well, we can probably get away with paying the people, 35, maybe even, 32, and because whoever's not going to take it, well, that's fine. Hey, we got 497 more candidates. We'll just take one of them.
cracking if it's a lot of people that want the business, whatever the job is offering, then it should pay more. You know, like McDonald's, man. I think McDonald's workers should get paid more. They making all them goddamn cheeseburgers, man. Pay them McDonald's workers more money, man.
Women can do more than men can in certain aspects, and men can do more than women can in certain aspects.
So if a man is making more, it's because he's doing a job that I probably can't do.
So can we agree that men and women are different?
Yes.
There you go. What does it mean when somebody says that's a man's job?
I think
Simple
in
question.
society, it's meant to mean that it's
Okay, so you know what? Let's let this play out, cause that's a good opener.
like a more macho or like laborious job, society-wise.
Okay, what's a woman's job?
There
A
it
woman's
is.
job is anything she wants to be. I mean,
Well, wouldn't a man's job also be anything he wants it to be then?
in the same respect, yeah.
Hard work,
That's
labor.
not what she said at first, though.
Out and open.
What's a woman's job?
Cook, clean, and make sure the house is good.
Do you think most women want to do those jobs today?
They should.
But do they want to?
Probably
No.
not.
So why are men still expected to be what women want if women are no longer encouraged to be what men want?
It's the world we live in.
Isn't that a world of double standards?
It is.
Mechanics, getting your hands dirty, moving labor, driving trucks. The list could go on and on.
Why are women more concerned with the ratio of male to female CEOs as opposed to the ratio of lower paid, dangerous, dirty jobs done mostly by men?
I think
Because they don't want to do those jobs. That's a simple answer right there. They don't want to do those jobs.
because women who want to start their own business or want to be their own CEO are frowned upon because it's looked at that's a man's job, not a woman's job.
What? Go back. We're going back to that. She just she missed a whole part. She missed the question altogether.
Or want to be their own CEO are frowned upon because
as opposed to the ratio of lower paid,
driving trucks.
Because if you notice, she didn't say anything about the lower paying jobs. That was the premise of the question.
The list could go on and on.
why are women more concerned with the ratio of male to female CEOs as opposed to the ratio of lower paid, dangerous, dirty jobs done mostly by men?
I think because women who want to start their own business or want to be their own CEO are frowned upon because it's looked at that's a man's job, not a woman's job.
It's on the tip of my brain. It's like they don't even acknowledge that as something that makes the world go round. We're in Las Vegas. Men built all of these skyscrapers, roads. There's probably some women in there, but yeah, they're just invisible to that.
Yeah, you're standing in front of the Eiffel Tower. That was built by a man, probably. Would you rather have a high-profile job for no pay or clean sewers for $100,000 a year?
I struggle with the smell of poo. So I think a high-profile job with no pay, because when you think about it, it would come with incentives.
You can pay your mortgage there.
I guess there's pros to both of them, but to give you a flat-out answer, I would prefer to have the high-profile job without pay, because if I was high-profile, I'd market myself to be sponsored by some company.
When you're interviewing a woman like this, you gotta lay down every specific possible, because she's always gonna try and reach all the way out into the universe and bring in the stars to answer the question instead of just sticking to the premise. Need to be right. She got to be right. No one said you don't. The better question would be for a lifetime. Make no pay for a lifetime. Not make any more money. That's it. This is it. It's $0.
And just keep working at it and get money, get paid, do more with that platform I have.
I'm cleaning sewers for $100K, man. Ain't no shame in my game.
I'm cleaning sewers. There's no question about it.
Why?
Yeah.
More money.
Clean the sewers. I'm just going in my head. No, I'm going to clean the sewers for $100,000 a year.
Or clean sewers for $100,000 a year.
I'd rather the first one.
Okay, so wouldn't that explain why you're paid less?
Yeah.
Because you don't want to do...
Because I really don't want to do that.
You don't want to do the dangerous, dirty jobs.
No.
Glasses?
So could that possibly be why so many...
Glasses? Did it hit her yet?
Women earn less money than men?
Yep.
I think it did.
So is that based on discrimination or based on choice?
And choices.
She got it. She just couldn't say anything about it. But look, guys, this was entertaining. It's complicated. Let's go ahead and we can turn that off. Yeah, it's complicated. He has some great questions. It's good to review content like that. I always like being able to think about stuff on another level. But we're gonna end it here. Like I said, like and subscribe, guys. But also go check out It's Complicated. Like I said, this guy asks great questions. He got great content. And he's closing in on 300K. So yeah, go subscribe. Help him out. I'm gonna say goes to the next time. Peace. Thanks for making it to the end of this video. But do me another favor, like and subscribe, but also check out these here. Either subscribe or watch videos, one or the other. I don't know which side, but hey, all right.